Impreza mod videos. What we're doing today is another passive cooling mod, a mod which will help keep the engine bay a little bit cooler than normal. Today we're going to be installing a secondary cat heat shield. All right, in this kit we have the Design Engineering Universal Catalytic Converter heat shield. It's basically a stainless steel plate, some what are these, worm drive ties, and some hardware which allows for the heat shield to be spaced off of the clamps themselves. And we're going to be installing them on an area which I've deemed to be quite troublesome for the transmission. As you know, the CVT, this object here, is right beside the secondary catalytic converter. That secondary cat gets pretty darn hot. Motherfucking cat. And there's like a hole that goes directly up into the engine bay. And it's right beside this transmission. Now, by the looks of it, there seems to already be a small heat shield here that runs right up to the edge in the front of this secondary cat. You know, look how close this is. This is like literally like right beside it, like it's a hand's gap away. So my thought is that if I can keep heat away from the transmission, we'll have, you know, longer run times without getting too much heat soak. You know, a lot of this is, you know, not going to stop the heat soak, but it's just going to prevent the transmission from getting too hot too quickly. So this is what the instructions look like. The use case is basically just to wrap the cat and then shield off the top. I had to bend the heat shield to match the place where it's going to go in. All right, it's ready to get strapped on. That there is the OEM CVT oil warmer cooler. It's an water to oil heat exchanger. So the coolant runs through it, but also the CVT fluid. Subaru engineers have put this catalytic converter beside the transmission. And what that does is it allows the CVT fluid to be warmed on initial cold start to operating temperatures. For normal driving, it's actually a good thing because, especially in winter regions, it'll warm up the transmission fluid a lot quicker. But what it doesn't allow is sufficient cooling when you're driving a little bit harder than normal, like say on an uphill pass or, you know, canyon driving or whatnot. So the point of this heat shielding is to kind of deflect heat away from the transmission casing and the engine bay up there. You know, for the most part, a lot of people won't need this mod, but for people who do drive their Impreza or Crosstrek a little bit harder than normal, I think this might help. So I have it installed, and you can see kind of like it's spaced off of the secondary cat. Is curved, hopefully like a sort of like a deflector, the heat to kind of dissipate off downwards as opposed to going up. And it overlaps in the front just a hair, you know, to kind of preserve that heat shielding idea. So we're going to find out if this actually will help keep the transmission cool and also the engine bay a little bit cooler.